most interesting thing that has happened to you personally since this tour has began? Doesn't have to be even funny, just the most interesting experience that you have had so far, personally.
The most interesting experience.
What is the first memory that sticks out in your mind when you're like, we went on tour with Behemoth? What's the first thing you thought of? When this is over, what will stick out so far?
Okay, that question really evolved and changed.
Yeah, I know. I talk a lot. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what will be my memories
if
at the end
tonight
of the
was
tour?
your last night on the tour,
Yes.
what is the most interesting thing, the thing that sticks out the most in your memory so far that has happened on this tour?
I just think the whole thing in general, it was I don't think there's even one specific thing. I think the whole thing in general, the brotherhood and everything of all the bands that were on this tour, and how they worked together. Even, from day one, when we started the tour, we've done shows with Behemoth before. We toured with 1349 before. We're familiar with those people, and so it was when you meet back up with them again, it's like seeing old friends,
Right.
And so
kind of you went to a weird
everything
high
fell
school,
into
right?
place the first time. We all went to a heavy metal high school. And everything just fell into place. Usually some tours start, there's a lot of hectic shit going on the first day. Times get skewed, things start running late, but everything's got to, it takes a few days for everything to fall into place. Everything fell in place in the first day. And when it does that, everything's going to just be smooth the entire time. And everybody's got good relationships, they get along really good, everybody's having a good time. That's the whole basis of it, And not only that, all the bands are we share qualities, but we're different in our own aspects.
Right. There's a good flow throughout your show. I mean, we just saw through the entire show, and there was a really energy build up from the first band all the way through.
That's awesome.
And it was pretty cool because you saw people kind of nodding, and then you saw people kind of getting more into it.
That also means
by the time
they've had more drinks too.
Yes, there is that, but I also felt just purely I could see people getting more excited. I could see people by the time Goatwhore hit stage. Sorry, I stutter sometimes. People were oh my god, I'm so excited. I haven't seen this band before. I haven't seen this band in a few years. They were really, really just enthralled.
Well, I think the whole idea. There's different tours you do, and some of them work out well, some of them are kind of so. It's just how it is, and especially with so many bands touring nowadays, you never know. But I think this tour is really unique because of what's going on. Behemoth hasn't been here in so long. Everything that happened with Nurgle, with his health and everything, and then the evolution of their record coming out, and then doing this tour, and the way everything was put together and everything involved with it. I think that's what helps the impact of it as well.
I can completely see that after you pointed out how that would
I mean there's people come and they see the tour and they're yes, this is awesome, but you got to look at the big picture. There's such a huge picture of it. There's a huge picture because of the history of Behemoth and what they've done and everything internally within the members and health and things like that and the evolution of that, and even with the other bands that are involved too, it's a huge picture, and it makes it even that much more, so it's tonight was sold out. We've had a couple of different sold out shows on the
you did completely sold out tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was sold out tonight. It was sold out in Arizona, it was sold out in LA, I think in San Francisco it was sold out. I don't remember, but there was a bunch of them, but if they weren't sold out, they were really far close. So every show's been really packed, and the energy was there. Everybody was just the anticipation was totally over the top.
See, that's something I'd like to hit on, because something that gets thrown around so much, but specifically metal shows. We are metalheads, but I'm into a lot of different stuff. There's something that I noticed that is more unique for a metal show than just about anything else you go to. It's the almost kind of fuck you camaraderie, which is so oxymoronic, but it's so nice at the same time. Do you guys get a lot of that too? Well, because you're the focus of the show, so I'm assuming more people are it's so cool to meet you that you don't get a lot of bumping into you, get out of the way kind of stuff. People are more just
it's funny because sometimes when I come out, I'll come out by the merch area after we play or before we play. There's some people don't know who I am, you know. Some people don't know. Not everybody knows. It's not like, you know, it's not like everybody there knows, you know. I'm sure there's some guys in Behemoth that would come up and people would not necessarily know that they were in Behemoth. And that's unique too. That's
yeah,
cool,
definitely,
you know?
yeah.
But,
Are those cassette tapes?
you know, it's, yeah, you know, there's a tough thing. Within metal, it's a big family too, you know. Like when you're out there and you're playing, everybody's there for the same cause. Everybody's in
Right.
I just, you know what I really want, and the cool thing about, like with Behemoth and things like that, it's more knowledge based. You know what I'm saying? Like Behemoth's really smart about things they write about, things that they do. You know, and we try to do that as well as a band. And I want people that are into metalheads in general, to be more intelligent.
Yes.
Yeah, you can be crazy.
Absolutely.
You can be crazy and come to the show, and it's an outlet for complete chaos that's fucking controlled. But, you know, metal is unique, so be smart about it and represent it in a fucking knowledgeable and intellectual way, you know, because it is.
Really, like, as a fan, it makes me really happy to, like, hear you say that sort of stuff, because, like, so much of us, like, associate with that. And, like, when, you know, like, we grew up in a very conservative area, like, very, like, Bible Belt Christian, like, really, really conservative area, and, like, we get a lot of shit for the way that we look and things like that. And, like, when you're saying, you know, things like that, like, you know, you want people to, like, be more enlightened, if you will. You know, like, to pay attention to the world around them, and, you know, like, and basically, like, use the things.
Well, you know, religious
like,
people are not enlightened at all. They're really caught in their own.
It's not even like that. Like, I'm not even trying to listen to, like, a religious interview, because we'll be here forever. But yeah, like, you know, like, a lot of people, like, misunderstand the entire scene, and a lot of us, like that, like, you know, like her and I are, like, very good friends, and one of the reasons why is because we can talk about intelligent things, and a lot of people take the way that, like, our scene looks the wrong way. And, like, do you personally put a lot of ramifications of that with your profession, with your job? Or people are more like, oh my god, you're a famous musician. You
I'm sure
know?
there is different weird little things, you know, but I think at a certain point in my life, I just kind of wrote all of that off, you know, just like, this is how I am, and if you either accept me or you don't, no big deal.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
See, and that's something that I really enjoy about our scene as well, because, you know, like, a lot of people, like, they don't care about how you look or the clothes that you're wearing, you know, things like that. When you show up, they're just like, oh, you like this band too? Like, it's fun. You know, and I don't.
Well, I mean, that's how a lot of people meet in this scene too.
Yeah,
just in general.
yeah, absolutely.
They find they have an interest in this band, and they both are like, you know, it's kind of funny because you think when you're at home and you listen to it, you listen to bands, but you don't think they're as big as they are in a sense sometimes. And then when you go to the show and you see some of the people, you're kind of like, oh, I thought I was so little in the picture of what I listened to. There's so many more people that I'm into. I mean, but still, on a basis, metal is still pretty, you know, low compared to, you know, all this big bullshit that's out there and everything. But it's unique, and the people involved in it are very unique, you know. And I want them to be, you know, more intelligent, more knowledgeable. You know, look into what the band's doing, the ideas behind it. It's not just some basic little thing they're throwing out there. There's involvement in there. There's just really progress of how it is created.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because there's a lot of stigmas, like, thrown into it, where, like, I think that because of,
yeah, and they see a kid and they think, oh, it's badness.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, it's like an outlet. These people, you know, they're just letting themselves flow. It's a flow, you know. It's chaotic, but it's controlled.
Chaos is kind of beneficial, like, and you know, throughout the course of history, like, so that's a totally another conversation. Alright, I'm gonna get to, like, the actual basic questions now that we've been kind of, like, just chatting for, because I feel like that was kind of like a better introduction, because, like, we got to kind of
that's no problem.
hang out for a second. So, like, on as you put it, on a badass tour with the Metal Alliance, the headliners of Behemoth, like, well, I guess what stands out, kind of the unique bands. So, and how is the tour going, and is it any more different or more brutal, maybe, than usual?
Well, the tour's going amazing. Just like I was saying, you know, sold out shows are either close to sold out. The audience has been fucking phenomenal, and the good thing about it too is all the bands are getting filled. It's not like there's one band where everybody's kind of like, everybody, the flow of it goes really well. The crowd is like you said, you saw the anticipation build. It got to the end of everything. And that, that's been going on, so it's really great, man. And everybody treats each other really good.
See, like, okay, as a side question, do you think the fact that, like, you guys had, like, almost, like, a previous, relationship with some of the other bands that are on this tour with you, that it, like, is helping with the camaraderie with what you're doing right now? It's helping with the energy for the crowd?
I think, I guess,
like, everybody's having fun and, like, you kind of
I guess, it's a sort of, it probably does assist, But, I mean, usually when you get on a tour, there's really rare instances you get on a tour and then you're partially through and you hate somebody, something really fucking shitty has to go down. But usually, like the halfway point, you gain this relationship with the other bands and you got little jokes with each other and things like that. But this time it was right at the beginning because you had already been with the guys and everybody knows. So I'm sure maybe it definitely helped. The spirits were up from the get-go instead of like seeing how things would work and the build-up of it and everything and breaking the ice with other individuals and all the ice was already broken and everybody just came through.
Like, it's a horrible analogy. Like I said earlier, it's almost like metal high school, like a reunion. You're like, hey, like, we hung out before, like, we have memories. Like, I think that would really kind of, pardon the pun, like, lubricate the situation.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So,
I wasn't thinking that we're just...
I don't know, thanks. Anyway, of course, how interesting is it exactly to tour with Behemoth specifically? Because, not to divert the focus from you guys, because honestly, it's the first time I got to see you live, and I'm so fucking stoked. But of course, Behemoth is,
Well, it's interesting because, we never did like a big giant full tour like this with them before. We done we did some things. We did some in Australia with them, and we did like little shows here and there with them.
Did you get attacked by kangaroos?
No, I didn't get attacked by kangaroos.
Oh, that's good. Okay, I was really concerned for a second. They're kind of vicious.
I got the pet one.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, they'll break into your cars and stuff, man. They're kind of brutal. Like, kangaroos are pretty metal, actually. Yeah. They'll break into cars
shit out of you, man.
What?
So they would box you and shit. I don't know. You can
Koalas get really high off of eucalyptus too. That's why they fall out of trees. But, okay. Interesting facts about Australia.
But anyway, that was years back. So you get to, when you tour with bands like Behemoth, or even G49, you get to see an evolution process. How a band expands, evolves, and grows. And that's very interesting. It's interesting to see Behemoth from being younger and listening to the records and then seeing how they evolve to now to what they're doing. Like I said, like how intellect went into it, how they approach things, how they see things. It's really unique.
Well, since you brought that up, how is that to see a band that you know and respect when you were younger and you're now playing on the same stage that they play on right after you? How ridiculous is that feeling?
Well, that's awesome. It's amazing. It's when we were growing up, we were big Celtic Frost fans, and Venom fans, and we actually got to tour with the fans. We never thought we'd ever do that, and then actually getting out on the tour with them, you were just like, holy shit, what the fuck?
Right.
We're out with these guys, and it's fucking cool, so.
Does it feel like an accomplishment, or does it feel almost flattering? I
guess a little bit of all of that.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, wow, we're actually doing this with these people, and it's just everything just kind of unfolds. It's almost like you're a little kid again, and you're like, oh wow, like in a toy store for the first time or something.
I get a little sense of wonder. That's really cool. I'm really happy for you about that. Actually, that's really awesome that you have that.
And the thing about it is, and as it goes along, you realize that people involved in the band are generally good people, and they, you talk to them and you kind of mingle, and I'm not saying you're best friends with them and all this shit, but when you mingle with them and everything, you start to see their ideas about things, how they like to be silly, like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, you know, it makes you realize that just because you're in a band, you're no better than the person that's hanging out in the crowd. You know, because you both kind of work off of each other in a sense. You're the same kind of individual. You're just producing something that a lot of people enjoy.
It's like if we didn't have the balls to get up on stage, we wouldn't know if we liked it or not. You know, so it's kind of a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, but it is. It's still a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand that at all.
I think they do. I think some people just kind of don't dig into it deep. You know, don't really focus on that aspect.
Yeah, well, like I said before, like metal kind of has a stigma of being like really like stiff and like really serious. And like, I mean, if anybody spends any like time like going to shows and hanging out with like, the people that are involved, like a lot of the times everybody's like just kind of silly and just wants to have fun, and the whole like brutal aspect kind of turns into a joke almost, and it's a mutually shared joke.
Well, no, it's brutal, you know, but the thing is, it's like, you can have all of that, and still have fun. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, I mean, like a joke, like a cliche joke. I mean, like we make those jokes to each other, and we get it, but like other people like don't understand where we're coming
from. There's like cult scenes, and they're like, it's this way, it's you know, I'm just like, whatever, you know, you're taking the aspect away from it, because I mean, the idea is to be no rules or none of that. You know, when you start being like in this regimen, then you are creating rules. Even though you're doing something that's obscure, you're still creating a rule and a guideline. You know, so it wasn't supposed to.
It wasn't supposed to turn into a stereotype.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I guess it's like the kind of evolution of the series. I'm gonna get to the last like question. This is actually kind of silly.
Oh Jesus!
Right. Zach posted a couple weeks ago about the back and girls at the shows. Has the scenery changed better as the tour has been going on? Because, you know, meeting more metal chicks at these shows, goddamn it, because they really do.
It was like mostly because I was planning on doing all this. Is that, you know, when you go to shows, it's mostly, like a sausage festival. Sausage festival, sorry. But like, you go to shows and there are girls, very few a lot of the time.
It's really not a lot, like a shitload of women that are into like extreme stuff. I mean,
actually,
but on this tour, I will say that. I mean, I don't have Facebook pages, so I don't know the post.
Right. Well, that's like because like I thought it was gonna be with Zach, and we were gonna like talk about it because like to me it would be like nice to see like more fucking like metal chicks at shows and not like right.
I do see, you know, I see the whole audience, and there are females and males in there, and it's like to me it seems like there's a little more females than before, you know. I mean, it's bigger shows and more people are fucking coming out, but there are definitely females that like it, you know, and are into like extreme music. I guess it's just this kind of hit or miss, you know, whether they want to be at a little club show or they want to be at the bigger show.
Right.
You know, so
it's like on what you're saying. Sorry, I don't know. Like with the kind of like utilization of the internet, like a lot more girls are exposed to like your style of music. Wouldn't have been before. Do you think that's really beneficial for you?
Definitely what I'm trying to do with like
I think so too. Well, you know what's funny is like, okay, this has nothing to do with music, but even like, okay, so like I remember this interview with Tony Hawk, the skateboarder, professional skateboarder. He said that like I remember when I was young, when Tony Hawk was just becoming, you know, he wasn't
becoming who he is.
And he was saying back then there wasn't like hardly any girls at the thing, because now you see tons of girls at all the skateboarding. You know? It is a thing that it evolved and more people got interested in the way, you know, like with the internet and more focus on TV and like the extreme sports things that they do, and they have skateboarding and women were like, wow, what's this? You know?
Right, and I think like our like exposure to the rate to a point like, you know, I wasn't really genuinely interested like in the scene and the music like 75 hours to like see you guys.
Well, because
Would you like to answer your phone?
No,
she doesn't.
We have like 9 minutes left.
So if you go, like even if you went back, you know, when there were less females at shows, you know, you can also look at, you know, maybe females are kind of like questionable about going to this weird, chaotic fucking venture and not have other females there, and just a bunch of dudes that are kind of like.
Honestly, guys, I'm just really comfortable.
Like
brutal enough to be here. I'm like, I bleed for 7 days and don't die.
Dude, I am sorry. I've gotten like so many arguments about like the shows that I go to that like, oh, I'm a female, I should not. You don't listen to this shit. Don't fucking be here. You don't know this shit. I've been in so many arguments about so many bands. I'm like, what? Why?
Because it's like an obscure, like it still is a little bit obscure.
It's a fringe society. That's what it is.
But I mean, if you go to Europe, I see, females, males at shows, I think the thing about Europe is their scene has always been really dominant within metal, like metal was
their sexual stigmas aren't as hard either.
Yeah, so it's like a little different than that. But yeah, I think it is expanding, throughout the years with everything.
So you're gonna kill him?
No, we have 8 minutes to talk about their new album.
Oh, I thought you were
I'm sorry.
I thought you said you had to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry, I misunderstood her hand signals there. So, yes, what would you like to say about your new album?
Pause.
Tax.
Does it matter what I really think about it?
Of course, your opinion is going to be biased, but I just want to know, if I go buy it, is it going to melt my face off?
I can't answer that though, man, because everybody likes certain things. I can't. I personally, yes, I enjoy it. I enjoy how everything came out with it and how it unfolds, and it's the perfect next step evolution of what Goatwhore is. But everybody's got their own little things that they like. I'm not here to force anything on anybody, but take a listen to it and
I'm not asking you hype up your album. Okay, here, let me rephrase this entire question. What about the new album are you personally proud of?
the whole.
The entirety of it?
Yeah, the entirety.
Well, that's an accomplishment.
Everybody's contribution, what everybody did for it, and the way everything came together with it, the whole everything about it, I like, everybody's little effort that they put in, and how, I think a lot of people, there's people that like certain members and bands, and they're like, but it's the whole that makes it, and it's a moment when the whole works together and everything comes together. If you look at big bands that members have split off, the bands that they put together after the members split off, they never like what they did when they were whole. So it's everybody combined on what they've done and what they've contributed to the whole thing.
I would like to shake your head on that because honestly, the most honest answer I've ever gotten out of anybody when I've asked them about their music, because most people just want to talk about themselves and how horrible they are. I really appreciate the fact that, since I am a fan of you guys, it's really cool to hear you say that, everybody had, a really integral part in what you're doing, because you don't hear that from a lot of people, and that's
but it's true. I don't know why bands don't say it more, because everybody does. Okay, let's say there's this guy in this band, and he writes all the riffs over it. Okay, and basically, the drummer comes in and he does his stuff, but the guy goes, well, I wrote all these riffs, so I wrote everything. Well, what about the drummer? The drummer made the beats. A beat can change a riff. You can have a sick riff, but then he goes like, boom, boom, and it's like, how the fuck is that? And then another drummer comes in and does something crazy to it. Wow, that made the part elevate so much more. So that's what I'm saying. That every little piece, when it comes together, it makes it something that brings it up to that higher elevation. And of course, we're all gonna dig it. Or we're gonna be really
you wouldn't be doing it, of course.
Because we don't write. No offense to fans, we don't write for the fans. We write because this is what we like. This is what we enjoy.
I personally appreciate that, when people don't write specifically to target a market.
I think honestly too, if we wrote to target, I think we'd fail miserably.
No, that's completely understandable, because you can't make everybody happy.
No, you can't.
And the people that you do make happy by being yourselves are the with you, no matter what. And, okay, aside from that, the only other question I had, which is not really on here, and sorry, but out of all of the times you've been interviewed, what is the one question you would like to be asked and nobody's asked you?
And I kept trying to show an article that was created for the common cause.
What would you?
I know all the questions I don't don't want to be like
Well, yeah, because that happens more frequently. But like, what would you like to talk about? Like, she's got a few minutes left on the video that we're gonna, turn into the transcript.
I think we cover it, man. I mean, every interview is different. Everybody's got different questions, Sometimes they are redundant, sometimes they are, but sometimes the approach is different, and there's different questions, dig deeper.
Being really informal, I feel like it should be more of a conversation because I got to know you better right
Well,
now.
I think if
just talking
anything,
to you,
I think
then being like, give me an answer.
I think sometimes like all of this could just be taught. I mean, you could just
Pretty much. It was pretty much like a guideline.
I asked like 3 questions that were actually on there.
No. It wasn't like intended for.
You just kind of dig deep in it. That's what I'm saying. You use a little bit of that, you might be able to come up with things that are like, oh, wow, that is different. That's something, you need to touch. Like the whole process of writing, the whole process of the band, with that, you get on the road, different things like that. There's so many different angles you can come from.
Exactly. And I think like honestly,
like nowadays too, though, there's so many bands, there's so many interviews. You know what I'm saying? It's just like shit.
Right. No, like it's like that, and that's why I was like, well, like we had a few questions that like we kind of like wanted to outline like some of your basic shit, but like I felt like just sitting down and like asking you some questions that like I know other people are thinking that you don't get the opportunity to meet you, or maybe don't have the balls to come up and see you. We're like really like wondering about because
Well, I say, you know what? Definitely check it out. I definitely say this: people that see this interview or read it or whatever, however it's laid out, they should understand that they should be able to come up to us, or not even just us, any band, and ask something. Yes, I'm making an answer to fucking questions with it. You're gonna confront that, but you're gonna get some bands that are really cool and they're just like, this is what we do. This is how things are. You'll find out that the people are genuinely actually down to earth and not like, but then you find some are not as well. But overall, you'll get a lot of answers that you've always had in mind. What goes on? Okay, like prime example. So I like we were in San Francisco and Bob Flynn from Machine Head was like, and I met him a few times, here and there, and so I got to a point, I'll see in my head, I was like, this is so stupid, but I'm gonna ask him. I really want to know how he got his guitar song on the record. Because I was like, every record you made is an amazing fucking beautiful. And how do you do it? And he's like, oh well, I just use this and I do this and then I record. I do this specific technique, and he explained it. And it was cool. And to me, I was just kind of like, I'm sitting here going, he's probably like, oh shit, this guy is just asking about this, but it was cool. He explained it out, and I was really happy afterwards because it was just something I was always interested in because I really appreciate the tone of the plays. So it was cool to get a little answer about it. That's what I'm saying, little bitty things that might intrigue you, like, oh, well, man, what did you do on your vocals on this? Like, how did you do this?
I also feel like, an artist myself, I'm a visual artist, but like when people question me about things that I do in my process, I almost feel like it helps me like get a bump. Like, do you get that too? Like when people come up to you and they're like, oh, like what's it like to be in this band? And they ask you like very like technical questions.
Not like create a bump, but I think it brings you back and grounds you sometimes. Because sometimes you think way more than it really is. Like when Rob was telling me that. It wasn't anything crazy elaborate. He didn't have like 80 different pedals. He was using all this shit. He had this thing. Kind of basic, like, oh, that's really not that out of control, but it's his effort of taking that simplicity and making it into what represents him.
That's what I was saying. Like,
so that's awesome. It brings you back.
To me, that is my creative bump. Is like when people like kind of bring it back down to like a level to really kind of think about it from the basics, and like all of a sudden you get like a new idea almost from talking to those people. Like, is it the same exact thing, like that you get as well, like as a musician?
no, it does,
when
because
people
it
come up to
opens
you
up,
and they're like, oh, you're
things.
so cool.
Because, you know, we all get
Yeah.
caught in this thing where we're doing something and you think it's this
Yeah.
complicated process and somebody steps in and goes, no, look, it's just this, and this. And you're like, why was I fucking losing my mind trying to make like this crazy thing when it was just a straight line? You know?
Right.
So, yeah, it's cool. It's awesome.
We're getting this swoop up promotion, so I would like to give you a hug if you don't mind.
Yes.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic talking to you. Thank you. It was
problem.
very,
Thank you.
very enjoyable. So hopefully we got a really good interview for our friends and their fans and everything else. So bye.